My first guest today is Dagney Ashley, who's involved with all the community groups in the city, really. It's her job to promote and market events in New Bedford. She is the marketing and tourism director for the city. Part of her job is bringing people together to talk about ways to bring more people to the city. So welcome, Dagney, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Um, it's always amazing, I think, to see how many things are really happening in New Bedford, and I think sometimes we lose sight of that. In a small city like New Bedford, last weekend, for example, the Jazz Festival on Pier 3, a gay pride event at Buttonwood Park, World War II reenactments at Fort Rodman and Fort Tabor. I know I probably missed one or two in there. All of that even before the official start of summer. My point is, a lot of folks are willing to work to make things happen in New Bedford, which is really a nice thing.
It is. And actually, Friday I was at the Schooner Ernestina Morrissey fundraising event at the Whaling Museum, and there were about 150 folks that were attending there, and they're committed too, as well. So yes, we have a great team in New Bedford. There's always some kind of event coordination going on. There's always committees going on. We're involved in many committees across the city, but we have a really great team that's willing to step up. Work together, collaborate, partnership on different events, and promote the city as a great place to live, a great place to work, and a great place to visit.
Now, and that, I guess that pool of people is growing.
It is.
Because I think there's more events. There's more people now
You're correct.
looking for ways to do some things and bring some people to their area, whatever the goal is of the event. What are some of the attractions coming up that maybe you are really looking forward to? And maybe some of the things that we might, they're not, they're below the radar a little bit.
Yeah,
List of those?
absolutely. This summer is going to be a pretty busy summer. There's lots of new things happening in the city, and there's also things that have happened over the past few years that will probably be expanded or improved. Some of those are the summer concerts, and these are a lot of free things. So these are free for residents, the community, visitors. We have lunchtime jazz in Custom House Square downtown. We have the summer concerts that happen every Friday on Pier 3 in New Bedford from 6 to 8. This year we're doing 7 concerts instead of 6 to extend it into the latter part of August. And at the end of August, we usually end off with an end of summer movie night where we play 2 movies in Custom House Square, and that's also free. So there's lots of free things happening in the city, a lot of recreational things that folks can do for free down at our beaches. East Beach, West Beach. We have the new Harbor Walk, the new Cove Walk. These are all great places where families can go down and have a free day at either one of these beaches or at Fort Tabor. But we also have some new festivals. So this year we're excited to have the Food Trucks of America coming to Fort Tabor. That will be July 15th, and that's going to feature right now I think they have about 23 different food trucks, some local and some within New England. And we have about 15, possibly 15 to 20 craft beers that will be under a beer tent. So that's pretty exciting to have something like that in New Bedford, and such a great place to have it on Fort Tabor.
And you haven't mentioned the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament
Oh, yes.
or the New Bedford Folk
I
Festival.
could go on and
haven't
on.
mentioned either one
I mean,
of those.
both of those. I'm getting there. We have a long list. Like you said, we just finished the Jazz Fest, and these are some of our, longtime favorites. I mean, the Portuguese Feast, you can't get any longer than that. I think they're on their 103rd or 104th annual Feast of the Blessed Sacrament. So that brings, thousands of folks to New Bedford to learn about our culture, to learn about, the Portuguese culture in New Bedford, and, have a great 4 days. Great music, entertainment. We get so many requests for the Portuguese Feast, both nationally and internationally.
What are they looking for?
They're just looking for something different. I mean, we are one of the largest, the Portuguese Feast is one of the largest cultural festivals in New England. And as, they tout all the time, and we piggyback on that. It's one of the largest Portuguese feasts in the world. So we tout on that, and we let folks know, everywhere we go that, you need to come to New Bedford. We actually have 2 media that I met at a conference that are supposed to come down during the feast and do some interviewing, get some pictures, maybe do a story about it. And then again, the folk festival. How you can go on. We get calls all year long when the folk festival is happening, and you can ask any of the local attractions or local hotels. They're always booked on these weekends. The folk festival, the Portuguese feast. And we're so thankful that the Zeitarian has taken over management of that folk festival, and they're doing a wonderful job of organizing great entertainment.
I imagine you must laugh out loud when people say there's nothing to do in New Bedford.
I do. Yeah, there's a lot to do, and sometimes we do that in our own backyard. Summer comes, we're all looking for vacations to go places, and we don't always look in our backyard. Now I sound like I'm true Massachusetts yard.
Yeah, but
park the car.
But the fact is,
but we don't. And that's not always a bad thing, because tourism happens everywhere, not just in New Bedford. So and it definitely we want people to give back to our community, and they do. People come out in droves. They go to all these things, but some people do go away in the summer for vacations. But if you want to know what's happening in our city, visit any of our social media or our website, Destination New Bedford. And you can find out all the free things. You can find out things you probably didn't even know that were happening.
That's what I think. You will find out some things that you didn't know were happening. New Bedford, I think over the last few years, has caught the eye of the state's cultural leaders. And the city is now getting some help in creating a kind of a walking trail or route, cultural highlights in the downtown historic district and elsewhere, I guess. That was first made the news, I guess, maybe a year or two ago. What's the update? What's happened with all of that?
So there's quite a few things. So a few years ago, we became the Seaport Cultural District, which is a state designation through the Mass Cultural Council. And that's in downtown. That's about 20 blocks of cultural attractions and businesses and museums. So what we do is we use that as a marketing tool to sell the city as a cultural destination. I think we've always been an arts and culture destination, and I think we've always been a cultural district. Now we're just a state-designated cultural district. And now we've added, and with all the partners, we have a lot of cultural institutions that, work day in and day out to get grants, to do community programming. One of the new ones that we have over the last couple of years is the Seaport Art Walk. And those are temporary art installations that are outside from June through October. And I think it's in its third year now. It's been a great success. We include all local artists. We have some that are from out of the area, but mostly a lot of local artists. And we come up with a theme every year. This year it's Sustainable Oceans. And that's a self-guided walking tour that you can walk along the waterfront and view these sculptures. Last year we got a lot of notoriety with our Seagull Cinderella. So this year we have a rather large bird at the corner of Elman and Route 18. Which is also gaining attraction, and folks sometimes ask, what are the what's behind the sculptures? Should we have sculptures that represent New Bedford? Well, what we say is all those sculptures represent New Bedford because they're artists that are locally. A lot of them are local from New Bedford, so that represents New Bedford. When they do a sculpture on the waterfront, that represents the local artists in our area. And I think art also inspires conversation. So people talk about it.
Last year's did.
It did. And I wanted a more controversial piece to inspire that, because we probably got about, I want to say, 43 news articles nationally and internationally. So you can't buy that kind of marketing power. So I was voting for more of a controversial piece, but we'll take the one that's there because Donna Dodson does a remarkable job, and she's the creator of the sculpture as well. So maybe next year.
All right. You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips. My guest is Tourism Director Dagney Ashley from the city of New Bedford. What is the level of tourism? What was the level of tourism in 2016, and any projections for this year?
2016 was actually great. I mean, we'll never compare to 2014 when we had the Morgan, and we brought in 30,000 extra folks in a matter of 8 days. But 2015 to 2016, we were up 14%. And what that equates to is about 70,000 around there extra visitors throughout the year that came in 2016. So that's good. We're on a trajectory path, and I only suspect that this year we're going to have more visitors coming to the city because New Bedford's getting known as that destination, that new destination, that authentic destination. We're always promoting the city as authentic, inviting. The working waterfront, folks love that. We in the last 2 weeks, we've gotten probably about 3 requests for behind-the-scenes tours. They want to go to the fish auction house. Yeah. They want to take a tour on a scalloper. They want to go to a processing plant. So things like that, which makes us truly authentic, are driving folks to the city.
Do you grant those requests?
We do. We try. We work with the port. We work with other people, and that's what I say. Like New Bedford, so not just the cultural institutions, even the fishermen. They're open to it. So we have a great community here. That definitely is proud of its heritage and its culture here. So I think when we reach out to folks like that and they say they open their doors or their boat, so to speak, it's great. It's great for visitors. It's great for the community. And at the end of that, people are writing great stories about us and news articles nationally and internationally, which are driving more folks here. So we think this year is going to be really great.
I've often felt that the Port of New Bedford really doesn't know what it wants to be. I know we've got a master plan and all this. Is it a working waterfront, or does it want to be a place like Newport, which is a tourism place? There always seems to be a little push and tug, although, as you say, the waterfront welcomes this kind of visit.
But we definitely want to be respectful of the commercial fishing that happens there, and we don't want to interrupt that. But folks find it fascinating just to walk on the pier and watch the boats pulling up and unloading. So we definitely want to be respectful of that, and we don't want to interfere with the commercial fishing because, of course, that is, a driving force in our city. But you can integrate the two.
But are we equipped to handle a load of more than 3 or 4 tourists on the waterfront? I mean, are there places for them to walk and safely be and all of that?
Absolutely. I think so. And I think, tourists these days, it's 2017, they're more savvy. They're visiting places that are, across, America and internationally. So tourists are savvy. They come here. They know, they look it up before. We have the power of social media now. We have the right at our fingertips with our phone. So folks can look it up. They can find where they're going. Pretty easy. They can, look on our website. Tells you where to park, where to go. So I think, folks know that before they get here, that it is a working waterfront.
So we've still got to come, as we mentioned, the Folk Festival, Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, and the return of the Working Waterfront Festival.
Yes, we're excited about that. And the Fishing Heritage Center is also a great addition. So all these, like you mentioned before, all these new things that have been happening, the Fishing Heritage Center, the Mariners Home and the Seaman's Bethel, new restaurants, new breweries, all these things are making, folks want to come to the city. And they keep hearing about all these new things that are happening. Next year, a new boutique hotel, which will house all these new people that are coming to the city, which will be great. But I think across the city, I mean, we have a great zoo. We have the Madeiran Museum. We have the Military Museum. So once we drive folks here, we get them to spread out and go around. Mm-hmm. New Bedford's a great culinary destination. Anytime we bring folks here, they rave about our food, our bakeries, the the different cultures that are here. So I think New Bedford's a great culinary destination, a great cultural and arts destination. I can go on and on. I'm pretty biased as a tourism
director. I think you'll
director.
pack them in for the food truck festival. Let me tell you that.
I think so too.
That's
I'm very excited about it. I'm hoping there's enough parking.
Yeah. So now you know, folks. When someone says there's nothing going on in New Bedford, you can say, "No way, bucko." Where do they go for that information?
They go to destinationnewbedford.org. You can visit our website, and of course, we're on every social media channel that you can find. So look up Destination New Bedford, and you'll find us.
Many thanks to Dagney Ashley, the Tourism and Marketing Director for the City of New Bedford. Have a great summer, Dagney. And,
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Thank you. You too.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.